Now joining us, one of the most followed golfers on social media, Micah Morris, joins us here on Golf Talk Canada. Micah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. This is really cool. Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Cool. Well, we're having you on the show because you've received an exemption into the Osprey Valley Open on PGA Tour Canada. First of all, how did that all come to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely wild. It still doesn't quite feel real. I It's actually been my kind of one of my goals. I think I actually wrote it down at the beginning of the year was to get a sponsors exemption in like a big event. I didn't know exactly what it was going to be, but it's just been something that I've talked to my team about. And I think just through mutual connections from my agent Joe, the Osprey Valley reached out and they presented the opportunity, and they asked for kind of a content strategy around how we could, help promote the tournament, the golf courses. And so we put something together and we sent it back to them, and they accepted it. And honestly, it just feels really cool. I mean, being a YouTuber, being someone who is, I am aspiring to play golf at the highest level. This has been it's been quite the journey, and to now like be stepping into this and having a sponsorship exemption into a big event, just it feels awesome, and I feel extremely thankful for the opportunity.
That's great, man. Now, I know you were in Calgary a couple of weeks ago. Have you been to the golf
hmm
course here, or have you been in the Toronto area before?
Not Toronto. No, I was in Calgary, played Mickelson National, and just, I mean, incredible time. The golf course was amazing, and even made it over to Banff Springs. And what an experience! I mean, I love the golf there, and I love like cooler weather, so that was a plus too.
Yeah, totally. Now, I know you were there with Mac Belcher as well, who we had on our show about 3 weeks ago or so. What's your relationship like with him? Another fellow now YouTuber and overall a
Yeah,
big influencer on social.
yeah. When he started on Instagram, I remember like seeing his stuff, and he was growing really quickly, and we started following each other. And I can't remember exactly when the first time I met him was like in person was about a little over a month ago at a place called Purcell Farms. And that was my first time meeting him, in person. And I mean, just an incredible guy. I've really enjoyed getting to know him. He's super authentic, and he just does what he loves, and he doesn't really care what people think. And I think that's one thing that just like I really like about him. And just a really, really cool guy, and he's very talented and hits some crazy golf shots.
Did he show you how to hit that little slinger? Because he showed me, and I'm a three handicap. I'm nowhere near that the level you guys are. But to pull off that slinger, it's a good shot to have on the course. Has he showed you how to hit the same shot?
Yeah, I mean, he's walked me through it, and I've watched him hit it so many times. And I just like the his ability to create just what he does with his hands at the bottom of the golf swing is just it's unmatched. And it was actually we played in the Mickelson Invitational together, and there was a 3-hole stretch, and I don't think anybody had it on film, but there's a 3-hole stretch. It's the three hardest holes on the golf course, and he played those 3 holes using driver only. He played a par three, a par four, and another par four, and it was, I mean, I don't know anybody else who could do that. He's just so talented.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. Watch, that's for sure. Now, you mentioned you're a YouTuber, and for those who maybe haven't seen you on social or haven't heard of you, you have over 300,000 followers on Instagram, 450,000 YouTube subscribers. How did this all get started for you?
Um, well, first off, I never really imagined myself being a YouTuber. When I started on social media, it was just on Instagram. It was in 2015, and me and my cousin Garrett started an account called GM Golf. It was Garrett Micah Golf at the time, and we just started doing trick shots on Instagram, and it was just purely for fun. And it started to grow. There was like it started to get a little bit of traction, and then that was probably did that for about a year, and then I finished college and ended up moving away and kept pursuing golf. Like I knew that I wanted to play golf. And so I moved away for a couple years, and then Garrett kind of got into the YouTube space, continued to grow. And so just the social media golf. And then he actually asked me to come back and join him on the YouTube channel, which is now known as GM Golf. It always has been, but so I did that for a couple years and just had a ton of fun growing with him. And then ended up starting my own channel. It was August of 2020, I think it was when I posted my first YouTube video on my channel, and didn't really know what it would become. I just knew that I was passionate about golf and I was passionate about, competing. And so I just put out content. We started a business. I was with a business called Good Good
Mhm.
for a couple years. Had a great time, learned a lot, grew a ton in, just a lot of areas, and ended up stepping away from that to just going back on my own. And now, I mean, a couple years of doing YouTube, and just had so much fun with it, and just kind of documenting my process of learning how to get better at golf, and hopefully, continuing to do that and taking it to the highest level that I can be. And I don't know exactly what that is yet, but I, fully intend to find out. And whatever level it does take me to, um, I've always said that it's more about who you become on the journey than it is like the destination. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I love what I do.
Oh, that's very well said. So a big part now that you have this reach, this audience, is you have equipment companies reach out and say, "Hey, we want
Hmm.
you using our product." And that's where
Hmm.
TaylorMade comes into play. Now, TaylorMade is a sponsor of our show as well. How meaningful has your relationship with TaylorMade been?
Oh, it's been awesome. Probably one of the coolest things is when I was in college, I had a one of the M2 drivers, and I hit it for probably 4 years. I could not get rid of it. And like when I started YouTube, it was the only driver that I used, and it was truly incredible. And I didn't really ever know if a partnership with TaylorMade would be possible, because obviously they're one of the biggest in the world. They have Tiger, Roy, like it's a massive company, and so it was kind of it was always a dream, to be with TaylorMade. And then it was about kind of rounding out last year. The conversation started, and it was just like it was pretty like surreal, honestly, to even just like started that conversation, and then we walked through how it would look and what it would look like. And we found something that worked for both of us, and it's been so much fun. The people at TaylorMade are really, really cool. They have been, I feel like they've just went to great lengths to make sure that I have what I need, and everything that I have is the best for me in order to help me get better. And it's been really cool. And I think that, even just to eventually hopefully get access to some of the players and do some videos with them. And one of my dreams is to do a long drive contest against Rory. So I don't know when it's going to happen, but I've talked to him, and it's just really neat. Like, to think of going from, starting out on social media and just doing things that were, you just never really think it's going to happen until it happens. And then, it's here, and I'm getting to experience things that I never thought I would. So it's really cool.
Well, you mentioned the long drive there with Rory. Now, to give our audience a bit of a behind the scenes here. So, when we shot our TaylorMade product special this past January, you were actually there the day before. And when we were speaking with Trotty and some of the guys there at the Kingdom, which is golf paradise, as you know,
Hmm.
they had you
Yeah.
lining up diagonally on the range so your balls would actually stay on the property. Is it, do I have that right?
Yeah, it was. So I hit a couple balls, and then Trotty looks at me and he goes, "I think we're gonna have to rearrange this." And so we had to go back and far into like the left corner, and then we were hitting all the way to the right corner. And I think I was still hitting some of them like over the fence, which I think there's a road back there, but it was pretty fun. I mean, Trotty got me so dialed with my driver, and got me in a combination that just, it's an absolute rocket launcher. But yeah, I was hitting it pretty far.
And that's the TaylorMade Stealth 2 and all the products there
Yeah.
with
Hmm.
TaylorMade. Now, getting back
Hmm.
to next week at the Osprey Valley Open, how is your preparation going? How is the game feeling right now?
It feels good. I've played some really good rounds off camera. I've actually spent a lot of time with my coach Jeff Leishman, just really creating a plan, to be able to go into the event knowing that I'm as prepared as I can be. looking at the golf course, kind of breaking it down to figure out how to fit, make it fit my game as best as possible. And yeah, I think just creating a plan and then sticking to that plan, you know, every day that I play is going to be very important for me, and not getting ahead of myself. My caddy, who's going to be with me, Austin Bilner, he's caddied for me in a lot of events when I lived in Texas, and I think the biggest thing is I just want to go out there and have fun. I want to make the most of this opportunity. I want to learn as much as I can, and I'm just very excited. I feel like it's a really cool step for me in my golf career, and I think the experience that I'm going to get from it is, it's priceless.
Certainly going to be priceless and something you'll never forget. And hopefully it leads to more opportunities like this. Micah, thanks so much for your time today and all the best at the Osprey Valley Open.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. And I really appreciate it.